Good morning, students of Standard 10. So we start the new session after the vacation with the continuation of the chapter on circulation, blood circulation in human beings. Now we left, I think, where we left is mainly of the different types of cells that are found in the blood, the corpuscles and the plasma. What are the composition, their function, etc. Today we are going to study about the process of clotting in blood. Now clotting is a very important process in blood because the blood flows to definite vessels in the closed circulatory system, and if anywhere it is punctured, then the blood leaks out from the blood vessel. And if the blood, there is no stoppage of the blood, then the whole blood may leak out through some major injury of major blood vessels. Now there is a very unique process in the process of clotting. Usually I already told you that in platelets, the function of the platelet is for mainly induces the clotting. So the platelets and the injured tissue, they release an enzyme called thrombokinase. Now this thrombokinase is released from both the platelets and the injured tissue. This thrombokinase along with calcium ions convert a blood protein, which is soluble blood protein called prothrombin, present in the plasma. This prothrombin is converted to an active thrombin. So we say prothrombin is an inactive blood protein which is converted in presence of calcium to active thrombin. Now this thrombin again, in presence of calcium, and converts a blood protein called fibrinogen to fibrin. So fibrin is an active blood protein. Now this fibrin fiber polymerizes to form fibrin fibers, and this fibrin fibers, suppose this is a hand and the injury is here, they form minute thread-like structures after polymerizing, and this thread-like structure forms a network around this wound which can catch the corpuscles, and they form a structure which is called the thrombus, Thrombus, thrombus or the clot. So thrombus is something which is a clot which doesn't move. So the thrombus forms here and the blood cells are unable to move out of it. Now this causes the clot to form here. Now, so fibrin fibers cross the corpuscles is a thrombus or the clot. This clot on the wound does not allow the blood to flow out. So platelet is a very important composition in the blood. Now this not only in the injured tissue, it can form, it does not allow the blood to flow out of the fine capillaries also, which are present in various regions, in the nose, in the nasal region, or say somewhere in the capillaries, in the brain tissue. They do not allow the blood to flow out there also. But this clotting also is not required in many cases, because clotting can lead to seriousness, like for embolus. Sometimes the clot moves inside the blood circulates, then we call it an embolus, and the phenomenon is known as embolism. So the clot which is outside we call thrombus, which is inside the blood vessel is called the embolus. Now in order to break this clot, there is a presence of protein called heparin. There's some antiplatelet activity also takes place, which is called the heparin, which is present in the blood, which is formed in the liver, which does not allow the blood to clot. So heparin, there's a balance between the platelets, the fibrinogen and the heparin inside the body, which has to be maintained. Now if you remove the fibrinogen from the blood, that is called a defibrinated blood. So usually the clotting takes place when there is a stoppage, or when the blood flow is restricted. So if you take a small piece of grass or twig and wound it around the blood, fresh blood, then you can see a series of thread-like structures wound around those grass or a straw, which is called the fibrinogen, which the clot is removed and the blood after that does not clot, and that is called a defibrinated blood. So sometimes some chemicals are also used to make the blood flowing, like you see that when blood collection is done in the house, sometimes fresh blood is required, means liquid blood is required. So sodium oxalate is used there, which usually sodium precipitates the calcium and does not allow the blood to clot. So that type of chemical anti-clotting agents are also used to make the blood flowing. Now we are going to study about blood groups. There are types of antigen which is present on the surface of the RBC, and this is called the agglutinogen. This agglutinogen is found on the surface of the RBC. Suppose this is the RBC, and if this protein, the glycoprotein coat is on the RBC, and suppose if it is containing the A antigen, A agglutinin, then we call it the blood group A. That is on the basis of the glycoprotein coat which is found on the RBC. And the agglutinin, which is the antibody which is present in the plasma. So, suppose a person is having A blood group, it has RBC A antigen, and in the plasma there will be anti-B antibody. B blood group, they will have B agglutinin on the surface of the RBC and anti-A antibody on the plasma. AB group, both A and B antigen will be there. In the plasma there will be no antibody. O group or null group, here no antigen is present, that's why we call it O. That means here there is absence of the antigen. So we say no antigen, and there in the plasma of this O blood group they will have anti-A and anti-B antibody. So naturally, there must be a compatibility of this blood group. Blood groups are of different types. This is one type of blood group which we call ABO blood group. Then we have Rh factors, then we have MNO types of blood. So suppose if A group gives the blood to the B group blood, then the anti-A antibody of the plasma of the B blood group will clump the A cell or clump the cells of the A antigen, and then the blood flow will be stopped and the person can die because of the clumping of the cells in the blood vessels. So similarly, B cannot give to A cannot give to B, A and B can give both to AB, and O also can give, as because in the plasma of the AB group there is no antibody. So any of these three they can give to AB. But AB will take, so we say that AB is a universal recipient. Whereas O, since it has no antigen, it can donate to everybody. So that's why we say O is called the universal donor. So we have AB group as a universal recipient and O group as a universal donor. Now there is another blood group called the Rh factor. So in most of the people, we see that the Rh factor, this protein, particular glycoprotein, is found on the RBC. So those who possess this on the RBC, the glycoprotein, then we call them Rh positive. And if they don't possess that particular antigen, we call it Rh negative. So Rh positive can give blood always to Rh positive. They usually will not give to Rh negative, but Rh negative can give to Rh positive. Because usually the positive, Rh positive blood group, they can induce the Rh negative blood to produce an anti-Rh factor, which can cause problem later on. We'll discuss about that little bit later on at the last chapter about this, the reaction of the Rh positive, what it has on the Rh negative. There is a disease disorder called erythroblastosis fetalis, where if the parents are Rh positive and Rh negative, mother is Rh negative, and she conceives a child of Rh positive in her womb, then that can create an anti-Rh factor in the blood group of the mother. Now, this anti-Rh factor can kill the second child. The first child it will be born normally, but the second child, if it is an Rh positive child, then that can cause a stillbirth, which is known as erythroblastosis fetalis. So that's why we say the Rh positive blood group, usually they do not donate the blood to Rh negative, but Rh negative can give the blood to Rh positive. That will be diluted. So here we can see that usually when we see the blood group, you will see both, it is mentioned with both the ABO blood group and RH group. Like A, we say A positive or A negative, B positive, B negative, O positive, O negative, AB positive, AB negative. So negative and positive, that generally denotes the RH, which comes from the word rhesus, which is found in the monkey, Rhesus macaque. So we say those who possess it, they are RH positive, those who don't possess RH negative. So both the system, the ABO system as well as the RH system are taken into account. So till today we know about this. In the next class we are going to study about the structure of the heart, the blood vessels that are present in the heart. If you have any question, you can put up the question, and you subscribe to the channel so that you can see all the next lectures. And thank you very much. Stay safe and stay at home.